Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Courageously You with Martha Davis Alexander on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, the number one singles radio station on the internet. I am so glad you have joined us here today. My name is Martha Davis Alexander. I am your host. I am a recovering attorney and a certified fearless living coach, and I work primarily with now adult children of divorce to get over any remnants of their parents' divorce so that they can move forward in their life. And today, I have a very, very, very special guest, one of my close friends, Miss Kate Findley. She is a writer and the head boss lady of Generate Magic, which is all about making magic out of every single moment. Guys, every single moment you can create magic. And we're going to find that out from Kate, how we do that. She says even the crappy ones we can make magical, which is awesome. And using the raw materials of your life to weave an awesome tapestry. I love that visual. That is so powerful, Kate. As a coach, she helps you move from bored with it all to thrilled to be alive. From professional victim, I know a few of those, to engineer of your own life. She'll show you how to tap into your creativity and open up a world of possibilities you never even knew existed. So stop settling for mediocrity and start showing up as the superstar you were meant to be while experiencing a deeper sense of fun and fulfillment in all areas of your life. And today we're going to be talking about stop chasing happily ever after like Cinderella. You notice all those Disney movies cut off right at the happily ever after. You never see what the hell happens after that so that you can be happy now. Stop chasing happily ever after and be happy now. I love that. Kate, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Tell me how you got started. What is it all about? Tell me.
Okay, so with the happily ever after, so I was a late bloomer. But I always wanted love. And so I didn't really have like a lot of relationship experience. And so pretty much all my ideas about relationships came from Hollywood movies. And so I grew up, watching movies, like Say Anything and, The Breakfast Club and, all these like 80s kind of feel-good movies. And to me, that was kind of like my idea of like what love was. And, like I seriously thought, some man was going to come and start with his boombox, and serenade me outside the window. Like,
oh, Pretty Woman. I got that one. Yes, me too. It doesn't happen in real life somehow.
Exactly. Unfortunately.
So when did you realize that wasn't actually the way it worked?
Well, it was a long journey, like most things, right? And so like growing up, I was very shy and very insecure. And I didn't even really know how to talk to people, especially guys. And so that was part of the problem when it came to finding the Prince Charming is like I didn't even really know how to approach guys. And so that definitely kind of was an obstacle on my pursuit. And yeah, I was always just very serious and very focused on like achievement and like winning awards. And to me, that was kind of like the way to show that I was like to validate myself basically, and to show that I was like worth it. And so then it wasn't really even like in college, like I didn't really, loosen up or learn how to like just relax and have fun. And it wasn't really until actually I was in my late 20s and I discovered like the underground dance scene in Los Angeles. Wow. And that's when I really started to finally like have fun and just like, yeah, just finally like relax and enjoy life.
I didn't even know there was an underground dance scene in LA. You know, I'm 30 minutes from LA.
Really?
I
I
might
did not
travel
know
world
that.
now to go to the underground dance scene in LA.
You should.
I'm just saying, I didn't even know that existed. So, have you chased the happily ever after?
Well, and so in this, this whole time, even though I was really like having fun and enjoying life, but at the same time, like I still really wanted love. And but one thing that I didn't really understand at the time about the party scene and really just kind of I think urban life in general is that a lot of people don't really want relationships. And and so I kept getting hurt because like I would meet somebody and I would really fall for them. And then I would send them these really kind of like flowery, like really poetic text. And
What, you're saying that didn't work?
unfortunately not. And so yeah, I just kept getting hurt. And then but then I finally met somebody and who I, really was attracted to, and I just thought he was amazing. And then he felt the same about me. And so I was like, wow, this is like amazing. And so like I didn't even think that could happen to me. And it really did feel like I was in a fairy tale. Like I just completely like lost touch with reality. And yeah, just really kind of felt like I was living kind of in this dream, fantasy world. Um, and and I think during that time, I pretty much kind of like forgot, about everything else. Like that relationship just pretty much became my world. Um, and it didn't really take long. I would say probably a few months into it, I started to see, wow, this person might not be all who I kind of built him up to be. Like there might, there's kind of some issues there. But because I wanted so badly to have like the happily ever after and like the Hollywood ending, I basically just was in denial. Um, and and people tried to kind of like subtly tell me, they were like, look, we think he's great and everything, but there's kind of some things we see there. But of course, I didn't want to listen to them.
No, because what you heard was, we think he's great.
Exactly.
That's what you heard. There wasn't anything else after that.
Exactly.
Great. Good job. Yeah. Yeah. So what happened?
Well, it was very much like a roller coaster. And that one day I would just be, to him, I would just be the greatest person in the world. And then the next day I would just be terrible. And so I started I basically lived for those moments when I would be the greatest person in the world to him. And so I started working really, really hard to try and fix the things about myself that he seemed so like unhappy with. And so I was just convinced that, that if I was just turned into the person that I thought he wanted me to be, then, everything would just work out. And so I was constantly just kind of like working on like self-improvement. And so I guess in a sense, it wasn't like all bad. Because that did, I guess, kind of start me on, personal development and, kind of started me like on spirituality and kind of learning more about myself. So I don't think all of it was necessarily negative, but it was very much, I would say, the goal was to try and fix myself so that I could be better for him. Basically.
What he wanted,
exactly.
Right? So his message was horrendous. His message was horrible, and you made it. You found the silver lining in how you reacted to it, in that it made you better. But his message, no. And I'm gonna guess, because this is the Going Solo Network, so there are a lot of people out in our audience who have really similar experiences, right? Where they try and I've done that too, try and remake myself to be someone somebody wants. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And that just sucks. That says
Mm-hmm.
that we don't think we're enough just who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, none of us want to feel like that, right?
No.
So how do we let that go? Tell me. Finish this story. I got to hear.
And so, yeah, so it's kind of, from the outside, I mean, people could have told me, oh, you need to just love yourself. But for me, it involved actually kind of like going through the process and kind of going through the journey, and basically starting to see just how like exhausted I was, and even though like outwardly, like when I was with my friends and my family, I would still put on a smile. I would still try to act like everything was okay. But the people that really knew me best could tell that something was wrong, and that there was something where I wasn't really letting on. Um, and then yeah, I mean, there was one day where like I went. Normally, I would go on walks with him. We would go on walks together. And then one day, like I just went by myself, and I remember after, like during the walk, just feeling so light and like just happy and amazing. And I realized I hadn't felt that way in a really long time. And so then when I got back, he asked me, he was like, "Oh, how was your walk?" And I was like, "Oh, it was amazing." And then he gave some like sarcastic remark. He was like, "Oh, well, that's great." so, and so then that kind of made me think, well, maybe do I really want to be with somebody that doesn't want me to be happy? And that, and that where I feel better when I'm not with him than when I'm with him.
That's a pretty telling sign.
Yes.
It's hard to do that, though. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to say, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. And then there were kind of more things that happened, and I kind of there was a certain point when I realized, well, maybe it's not just me. But then I started to kind of like justify. I was like, oh, he had a bad childhood, and so then my whole mission became I would just heal him, like with love and light.
Because beauty fixed beast, right? Beauty fixed the beast, so it must be.
Yes.
Yes.
And so then I actually went to this hypnotherapist, and I was because I had heard that it was specifically for a past life regression. And I had heard that you could actually, through a past life regression, that you could do remote healing. And so I told her, I said, I'm not just looking for healing for myself. I'm looking for healing for my partner. And so she was like, well, kind of what's going on, describe what's going on. And so I started to talk about some of the stuff that was happening. And then she was like, well, he doesn't want to change, and she was like, who are you, to try and change him?
Wow.
And so that to me was like a big revelation. That the first step was realizing that I didn't need to change. And then the second step was realizing that I didn't need to change him either.
That's brilliant.
And that really the only solution was just for us to go our separate ways. And it didn't mean, that something was wrong, with either of us. It just, it was just that.
Wow. So being happy with now. Tell me, how do you transition? Because, it's hard. I did family law for a really long time, and it's hard, particularly, I want to say, for women, although it's hard for some men. It's select men, right? It's hard for them to be out of a relationship, whether it's their choice or somebody else's choice. It's really hard when you don't find that happily ever after that the movies promise us, right? That's our feel good promise. Hallmark, love my Hallmark movies. But how do you get the happy now? being happy now, just with where you are, no matter where you are? How do you get to that place, Kate?
Yes. And I would say part of it was, I think part of the reason that I stayed so long, even though I was unhappy for a long time, was definitely, pursuing the fantasy for sure. And, trying to make things work, not wanting to give up. But I think also it was just I had allowed myself to become really isolated. And, I had pretty much stopped seeing friends. I didn't even really talk to my family that much. And so I think, so I think the isolation was kind of what made the prospect of being alone scarier or just harder.
Yeah.
But then I slowly just started kind of like reconnecting, with people, just with old friends, like reaching out more. And then when we actually left the country and we moved to Mexico, we got to this, became involved like in this community. And so then, just kind of getting to know the people in the community kind of helped me to sort of like feel kind of more supported. So I would say any sort of support network, and there's lots of online networks too. So even if you can't like physically, see that many people, I think there's a lot of things online. There were also several online groups I was a part of at the time that also kind of really helped me with the transition.
So now you're the queen of fun, right? When we were Kate and I were in a group together, and Kate is the queen of fun. So share some about fun.
Well, yes, and I feel like part of this transition for me was rediscovering what it meant to have fun, and so I really like to dance, and when during the relationship, I had pretty much just like stopped dancing. And there was one point, well, early on, he told me that he didn't really like my music. He was like, all this disco, like I can't take it. So I just like stopped. But then part of the transition period when the relationship ended was kind of rediscovering all the things that I liked before the relationship. And so I started kind of listening to the music I liked again, and started dancing again. And that is really kind of what opened up, just feeling happiness again and feeling that sense of fun.
Yeah, I love that. Dancing is always, my children make fun of me, whatever. But I love dancing, right? I made fun of my mom too. So right, it's part of the journey. But dancing always makes me happy. And I wonder if that's true for everyone, right? Just moving your body, and
definitely,
whether you're great at it or you dance like nobody's watching, right?
Yes.
Nobody has to watch, dance in the shower, whatever. It's where I sing because nobody can handle that either. Good for them. So there's a lot of times. So like for me, I wasn't even sure at some point what I liked, right? Mm-hmm. So how did you go on that exploration of finding things that make you happy? What things did you try?
So, I guess it's just kind of a matter of, seeing kind of what clicks or what really resonates. There were like a lot of things that I did where it kind of felt like things that I should be doing. Like there's so many different like tools out there as far as like spiritual tools and different types of meditations, and I tried like so many times to get like a routine down, but I just noticed like morning after morning I just was never doing them, and it always just kind of felt like a chore. Whereas the dancing, like it never feels like a chore. It always kind of feels like something that I want to do and that I enjoy doing.
So do you leap out of bed dancing? Your alarm? That's what I want to know.
I wouldn't say when the alarm goes off. It takes me a few minutes to.
Okay.
But yeah, I like to start out the day with a little bit of dancing, and then I like to do it before I go to bed too, usually kind of for an hour, at night.
A whole hour of dancing? Wow, that's aerobic exercise. We're going to hold that thought for a minute because we are going to go to a commercial break. And if you stick around, you'll see Kate and I on the side. I'll be dancing. Kate, are you going to be dancing with me?
Yes.
Fabulous. So this is Martha Davis Alexander. This is Courageously You with Martha on the Going Solo Network. We are talking with Kate Findley, and we will be back shortly. See you in a minute. Oh my goodness. I love looking at the jewelry.
Yes.
It's almost Mother's Day. It's so much fun. And I do love that music. Don't
Yes,
ask
me too.
So everybody, this is Courageously You with Martha. I am your host, Martha Davis Alexander. I'm a recovering attorney, a certified fearless living coach, and I work primarily with now adult children of divorce. On the long-term impacts that divorce has on them. You can reach me at marthadalexander@gmail.com. Love getting your emails. They make my day. Or you can check out my website. And you can check out my website at courageouslyoucoaching.com. Or you can call me 805-422-6865. And we have with us my very special guest, Kate Findley. She's a writer and the head boss lady of Generate Magic. And you can reach her at Findley Kate, that's FindleyKate @gmail.com. And she would love to get your stuff too. Oh, and Kate has a free gift for all of you. That is flipping awesome. It is 12 songs to light up the spark within you. That is at https://my.generatemagic.com / whatever it is, playlist. I don't speak computer, people. Anyway, That is a fabulous gift for our audience. Thank you so much, Kate. This is the Going Solo Network, #1 station on the internet for singles. And we're diving right back into, Kate doesn't just leap out of bed to dance, but she does dance, and for quite a period of time, an hour before you go to bed. That's fabulous. I used to do that with my kids when they were little. We used to dance after dinner for about an hour. Yeah, that's why they love my music. There you go. So, what other things for fun? What's fun? You know, nobody ever taught me what was fun when I was a kid, right? There isn't a lesson in, is this fun or not? There are just a lot of shoulds as what you should do, right? I have clients who say, I can't meditate. I'm like, well, what are you doing to meditate? I mean, really, sit by a tree and breathe. You're good. What is it to you, right? What is fun to you? It is a beautiful thing to be able to develop your own list of fun.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, I think as a kid, especially, like, I felt like there were so many things that people thought were fun that weren't really fun to me, and they would kind of be like forced on me. Yeah, like any like big like events or like birthday parties or like big social things were not really my idea of fun. And to me, you know, I said, you know, I didn't know how to have fun, but thinking about it now, I realized I did kind of know how to have, you know, my own version of fun. And so to me, fun was more just kind of going on walks by myself, or sometimes with a friend. You know, we would just kind of walk around town and or rollerblade around town and kind of make up stories. And I used to do like a lava rock throwing contest in somebody's backyard. Because in my town, it was just all these like summer homes. And so there would be all these houses that were just like uninhabited. Until one day the neighbor started yelling at us, and that kind of put an end to that. And,
were you throwing at windows, Kate? Come on.
Well, that's actually a funny story. And so we were throwing the rocks. And so the neighbor, I swear, I could have just been imagining it, but it sounded like she said something like, I'm going to get out my gun. And so both of us, we were like 11 and we were like terrified. And so we just sprinted like as fast as we could to my friend's house. And it's funny, we got there like sweating, you know, and out of breath. And we didn't even want to tell our parents what had just happened. Yeah. But then we actually, you know, because we were kids and we were curious, we eventually went back to the house. And then I remember like asking my friend, I was like, do you dare me to break that person's window? And as a kid,
that's awesome.
As a kid, you know, when you say, do you dare me, it's because you want to do something.
Yeah.
And so I actually threw a rock through the window of the neighbor's garage. And then once again, we just kind of took off running. So
did they ever catch you?
Not that I know of.
Oh, so people keep this on the download. This isn't for public consumption. This is on the download. It's a secret.
Well, it's funny because to me, that was like one of the most rebellious things that I did as a kid. But then I talk to males that I know, and they tell me things like, oh, we set mailboxes on fire. And like,
yeah, I have to say I did worse things than that.
Yeah.
My favorite place was on a horse in a pasture alone, right? Riding my horse by myself. My cousin would join me, my cousin Kelly, and my horse was on her father's farm. And if I saw a snake, I would get down and grab it because I'm not scared of snakes, and I would throw it at her. I found that fun. I don't think she found that as much fun as I found that, but I just wanted her to understand that gardener snakes are not harmful.
Yeah,
I might have harmed the snake though. That's the bad part of the story, right? Throwing it off the back of a horse probably wasn't the best use of my love nature. Neither here nor there. It was fun as a kid. So how do you help your clients learn what they think is fun? What are your top tricks for fun?
So, so I say, well, dancing, I think is always a good one. And yeah, specifically kind of coming. And for dancing, I would say the first time I would just have them do it like by themselves. Like I wouldn't have them do it with me because I understand a lot of people are kind of like self-conscious about that, about dancing in front of people. And I even get that way sometimes, especially like if I'm dancing and other people around me aren't. I could get kind of self-conscious. So yeah, like I would kind of like assign dancing kind of like as a homework assignment and just say, yeah, just kind of, tell me how you feel, do some kind of visualizations, while you're doing it. I also, I like doing like writing prompts too. And even just like writing exercises, like one of the best creative writing teachers that I had, she would give us a prompt. Like she would say, take a green book from your shelf, and the fourth line on the fourth page, that's the first line of your story.
Wow, that is a cool prompt.
So I really love prompts. I love prompts like that with constraints, because I think as a writer, the hardest thing is the blank page, and kind of the more options there are, the harder it is to get started. And so, so I think when you put kind of constraints like that, it kind of like, yeah, it just kind of gives you like a path. And it's like fun. It's kind of almost like a game, or gamified. It makes it like very gamified.
I love that one. I'm going to try that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try the fourth book on the fourth show. We'll see which book. No, you tell me right now, which book is it? Which book am I picking?
Which book are you picking?
Which book am I picking to do this exercise? Which book is everyone? Anyone who wants to do this, Kate's going to tell us which book we're going to take our prompt from and what line.
Okay.
I like giving assignments.
I like that too. Well, it's funny because I don't even have a bookshelf right now, because when I moved, I didn't really take that much with me. So it's just like a pile of books.
That's okay. Let's assume that somebody has a bookshelf.
Yes.
And you tell us which book.
Okay.
I have 5 bookshelves, so it's okay. I'll just pick one.
Okay. So I would say pick the book on the top shelf on the far left of the shelf. So the farthest left, pick the top book on the shelf.
Oh, the first top book on the left.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. And what line are we doing? What page and line?
Okay, so do the second page and the third line.
Okay. Y'all got it. We're going to do a fun writing, maybe a story, a poem, whatever you want to write, just a creative writing, fun thing to do. Pick the top shelf, top far left book. You're going to take the second page, third line, and that's going to start it for you. This is fun. I can't wait to do this. So exciting. Then that's our call to action this week right now. And we're going to add, I'm sure, dancing to that list to find your happy moment. All right, Kate, you said something I said something rather in your bio that you can turn even a crappy moment. Let me get this exactly right. Turning even a crappy moment into magic. Okay, explain that to me.
Well, yes, and this a big inspiration for me, and I've talked about this before, but it was I go for these walks like every day, and on one of my walks, I saw these people and they were having car trouble, and the car had like stalled on the road, and so they were having to push the car along. And but they were just having like a blast. Like they were just like laughing, and it was like almost like they were having a party. And I was like, wow, that is such a great approach. Um, and yeah, here in Mexico, one thing that I've noticed is that I also pass. They're building a bridge in my area, and so I pass the construction site every day, and they're always just playing music. They're always laughing, and so yeah, I would say like even if it's something that's very routine or like car trouble, it's something where it is kind of a crappy moment because it's not something that you were expecting. But yeah, just to have fun with it. Um, and also, and because I'm a writer too, you know, these crappy moments also make really great writing material. So
Indeed, right?
they don't always seem like it in the moment, but yeah, they can make like really great stories. And so yeah, and so I think just finding like as much humor, you know, as possible, yeah, humor and insights, I think, into anything that happens to you.
Yeah, I love that. So that kind of goes to the optimism, right? Knowing that the universe has your back, and
Exactly.
that, you know, whatever happens, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all gonna be fine, right?
Yeah.
It's all, and there's opportunities to learn and grow,
Mhm.
and it's all good, right?
Yes, in fact, speaking of car trouble, I have a memory now of when I was a kid, and we went because I'm from Texas, and so we went on a family vacation to San Antonio, like a car trip. And right as we were getting ready to leave, we were going to take my mom's car, but the AC wasn't working. And so we ended up taking my dad's truck instead. But his truck already kind of had a lot of issues. And it must have been like at least 8 times during the 4-hour drive, we had to stop because the transmission was having issues. And I
Oh,
think, and so it ended up being like an all day trip. The drive ended up taking all day. And I think at one point he even got one of his friends to come and like help him with the car. Um, and so, and so finally we get to our hotel. It's not like a super fancy hotel, but it still was kind of fairly, it was like the Marriott or something like that. And we
yeah.
pulled into the Circle Drive, and just this rusted up old truck that was just barely held together. And my dad was like, "Oh, we're the Beverly Hillbillies." It was just, we were just all laughing. It just got to the point where it was just so like ridiculous. That's all you could do was just laugh.
So everybody laughed. I love that your parents
Yes,
role modeled that, right? Because
exactly.
I got to tell you, I know a lot of people who that would not have been as much fun as your dad made it, right? Or as your parents made it in laughing about it. And how
Yeah.
much better it is to be like, okay, here we go. And placing any bets on how many times this is going to happen to this transmission, right?
Yes.
Or whether we'll get home anytime soon. I love that story. That is a perfect story for a crappy moment, and how you just make the best of it
Mhm.
instead of, you know, getting grouchy about it.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And sometimes people say when they're grouchy about it, I'm just venting.
Mhm.
Okay, here's the thing, people. Venting means you're moving the energy out and through you, and then after that, you don't need to vent anymore.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's that victim mode, right? That
Exactly.
sticking in that story, and that
Mhm.
victim mode. And having fun with it is what takes you out of all of that and gives you that control that you talk about, right? Well, how do you say it? Engineer of your life. I love that. I
Yes.
love that. You're the engineer of your own life, that you get to choose
Yeah.
happy, dance, fun, or not.
Mhm.
It is the
Exactly.
power of choice. Oh my goodness. You have given us so much to think about, and I'm going to dance tonight. I'm probably not for an hour, people. I'm 60. Well, I could. If I really wanted to, I could dance for an hour. I'm just not going to. I'm lazy. But I will dance. I will put on some music and dance. Might even dance on Instagram. Oh, that's so scary. Have you done that yet? Have you danced on Instagram?
I have not.
I'm waiting to watch you do it. See how you do it so that I can do it.
Okay, I'm up for the challenge.
You are? Okay. So we're all
that's funny. I don't even think, I think I created an Instagram account, but never really used it. But somehow I'll make a video. How's that? And I'll post a video somewhere.
Beautiful. A video of Kate dancing, and then the challenges of Kate does it, I'll do it.
Okay.
So y'all need to check out our social media. I'm, Courageously You Coaching on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and Instagram. I'm Martha.D.Alexander. A lot of dots in there. Anyway, and Kate, what's yours? Where are you? So we can find you.
I'm on Twitter, and it's just twitter.com and then my name. So it's twitter.com/Kate Findley.
Fabulous. Okay. Kate, you've been awesome. If you guys want to reach out to Kate, she's at findleykate@gmail.com, or you heard twitter.com, Kate Findley. And she made an offer of a free a playlist of 12 songs to lighten up the spark within you, to light up the spark within you, which is fabulous. I love that. Thank you for giving them a free gift. And you can reach me. I love hearing from y'all at marthadalexander@gmail.com, courageouslyoucoaching.com, or 805-422-6865. This is Courageously You with Martha on the goingsolomedia.com. We are live every Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Central Time, and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find it on YouTube if you want to share it with someone. Like us and share us all over the place. I would love that. And let's see, there's something else I'm supposed to say, Cece. Oh, you know what? Next week is the first Tuesday of the month. And for every first Tuesday, I do a and there's the to join it is, wow, that's a lot. I do a night of forgiveness the first Tuesday of every month at 5:30. So join me on Zoom. If you did not have a chance to write that very long thing down, email me at marthadalexander@gmail.com, or you can go on Eventbrite. It's on Eventbrite. It will be posted all over Facebook and LinkedIn and wherever. And next week, we're going to focus, our forgiveness night is going to be on forgiving yourself. So if there's something you want to forgive yourself for, or something that you're still holding on to, that you did, a mistake you made, come join us. It's easy, and we're just going to go through an exercise in forgiving yourself. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes tears, but it's all good. Don't worry about it. It's fun. Kate, it has been amazing to have you tonight. Is there any last words for our audience?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me. This has been awesome. And I would say, no matter what you're doing throughout your day, and I would say even go so far as to strategically find ways to make things fun. And so if it's just like a routine that you do every day, like folding the clothes or sweeping the floor, just, maybe put on some music while you're doing it, or just some way to kind of put some spunk into it and just make it more enjoyable.
Yeah, spark that light that spark. People, I know, so bad. Have fabulous, Kate. Thank you so much for being with us. See you guys next week, and I hope to see you on Tuesday night as well. Bye-bye.
Bye.